Hi everyone, welcome to Real Science Challenge. I'm Ken Louie, science teacher and talking head, talking about science education and broadcasting from beautiful Vancouver, Canada. This is episode 87. Now I gave a workshop on standards-based grading recently. Shout out to Stefan, who helped bring me in to work with teachers from the Vancouver School Board. And one topic that came up again at my workshop is the definition of extending, aka exceeding or excelling, or whatever this level on the proficiency scale is. According to the provincial proficiency scale developed by the BC Ministry of Education, the extending level is where students demonstrate a sophisticated understanding of the concepts at that grade level. And unfortunately, many colleagues misinterpret sophisticated understanding as going above and beyond the course material. In other words, a student at the extending level needs to know stuff at the next grade level. And this is absolutely false. Sophisticated does not mean above and beyond grade level. It means that students can use the information at their grade level in a sophisticated way. And on my tests, it means that I ask questions based on information they already acquired through my lessons, but we apply it in a different or unfamiliar context. Now, it also means that I need to properly define what I'm looking for at each proficiency level, which I'll show you in a second through a series of test questions I came up with for my genetics unit. But before I continue, handouts for this episode are available at realsciencechallenge.com/EP87. Now, here's a sample of a genetics test I wrote based on my genetics test this past year. Like all tests, it starts off with a rubric on top, showing emerging, developing, all the way to extending, and of course their name and everything on top. So to define sophisticated or extending, we need to start by defining the other level, starting with the beginning or emerging level, and then asking questions of increasing difficulty. So for emerging, I ask the basic questions that everyone should know about genetics. You know, the simple terms that like dominant allele, or recessive, or homozygous, or heterozygous, genotype, phenotype, all these terms that students would need to know in order to navigate more difficult questions. This is what happens at the emerging level. For the developing question, let me show you this one. All right, I ask the most standard or basic problem in genetics, and this would be the simple Punnett square, you know, with complete dominance and of course not sex-linked traits, right? And then I'll ask simple questions like, please provide a percentage of the possible genotypes. Please provide a percentage of the possible phenotypes. This is a very basic standard question that all students should know how to do in a genetics unit, okay? Now, what about a proficient level? Well, for that, I ask the basic question, but now with some more advanced details. Advanced details like codominance or incomplete dominance or sex-linked traits. So in this case, I have a blood type question, which relies heavily on codominance. And so I have them kind of explore this mystery of a mother and a baby and who the potential father could be based on blood typing. Okay, so again, this is like a slightly more sophisticated standard problem. And if you can do this, chances are you have a complete understanding, a proficient understanding of the concepts in genetics for this grade. As for sophisticated, I ask students to apply all those advanced details in the problem they may not have seen before. So for example, on my quizzes this year, I gave students a pedigree and have them analyze it. Now, have they seen a pedigree before? Of course, they absolutely have. We've gone over a pedigree in class, which is why on my test, this question, I generate a new one completely, and then I have students analyze and justify their position. So in this case, I'm asking students, is this a sex-linked trait or autosomal trait? Is this recessive? Is this recessive or is it dominant? And of course, they have to justify in the bottom. And this is where they get to demonstrate their sophisticated understanding of the concepts. So to summarize, the highest level on a proficiency scale right here does not mean that students need to be tested a material that is above and beyond their grade level. It does mean that students need to demonstrate a more sophisticated understanding of the material that they already know. This means that we as educators need to develop questions based on scenarios and contexts that challenge their understanding one step at a time, moving from emerging all the way to extending. And we need to, of course, define what emerging and proficient and developing all mean through questions. That's it for this episode. Please smash the like or subscribe button or leave a comment below. That's the perfect way for giving me feedback. And handouts, once again, are realsciencechallenge.com/EP87. Thanks for watching. And let's talk science education again soon.